All right, I think we live. Let me double check. I'm gonna check on my Facebook to see.
Okay.
This is new for me, so I'm about to see how this work. If we is live, somebody we need some comments or something if we live because this is all new for me. You know what I mean? Okay, I see we got the little up here, so it's letting us know if we live or not. So we're gonna get it going. We're gonna try to get us a start. This is all new technology for me. This is a new experience for Mr. Nickson. So what we're gonna try to do is we're gonna have us a good conversation. I'm gonna ask him some questions, to kind of highlight himself, see what he got going on. We can learn a little bit more. And this is how we're gonna get this thing rolling. So, Mr. Nickson, first of all, I want to thank you for your time. I know I reached out to you, a while ago, and you had to get some things in order and everything. So I appreciate, you being able to check back with me and let me know when you was ready because I definitely feel like this is going to be a good thing, a great thing. And like, I've been hearing a lot about you. I see a lot about you. So I figured I would have a conversation with you so that I can get to know you personally outside of,
Mhm.
you know what I mean, anything else from having any conversations with anybody else. And for those of you who are watching, I will say like, I've had a couple encounters with Mr. Nickson, but outside of that, I really don't know him personally. We were friends on Facebook. I see he's a football coach, and when I first seen him, he was all working out and all big and strong. But I was like sharing some positive posts, and it was like I didn't even know him, and he's the only person that's sharing them, liking them, commenting on them, and stuff like that. So I figured he would be a good person to link with, and then somehow we end up linking up, with the book club thing. So we kind of got a little bit more personal to have some conversations. But
Yeah, for
now that I
sure.
got you here, you know what I mean. I'm gonna open the floor to you. I'm gonna allow you to introduce yourself however you think the best way is for you to be introduced before I even get to asking you questions. Like, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh man, well, my name's Jayson Nickson. I went to Mercier's Prep, played football there. Ended up being having a great career there, and then I graduated from Mercier's and ended up on a full scholarship to Slippery Rock. Had another great career, and then that enabled me to play for the Erie Explosion for 3 years and bounce around a little bit with the Browns, Steelers, Ottawa, Winnipeg, and Hamilton.
Whoa, 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 whoa,
So,
whoa, whoa, whoa. Slow it down because this is new information for me already. You said an opportunity with the Browns and the Steelers.
listen, I just had a cup of coffee. That's all.
Hey
That's
man,
all.
listen here. I didn't even get a chance. I didn't make it through sophomore year of college football. So when you say had a cup of coffee, like what do you mean?
That means I got called in to work out and everything. So, it was cool. It was really because of what I was doing with the explosion. So it was just it was nice to be in the quote unquote 1% that plays after college,
Right.
and to be in those conversations. Now I didn't make it, but like there's a lot of people that say they can't make it as far as me. So I'm gonna take that to my grave and just live with it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. That's an honor for real. So I know I kind of cut you off, but then you said NFL and you also I think you said CFL as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
Hamilton, Ottawa, and Winnipeg. Like I said, very, very, very small stints. Just had a cup of coffee, but
Okay. I mean, somebody did have their eyes on you, which is good. So then we go from there, and then I did see that you did some coaching. Did you do some coaching on the college level as well?
correct. Yeah. So as soon as I graduated from Slippery Rock in 2011, I started coaching, volunteer coaching at Mercier's Prep, and that plugged me in with people like Cornelius Barclay, Thomas Higgins, and then eventually I met Jesse Lucetta. And I was at that time I was working for 911 here in Erie County, and I did that for a year, and then I did that. Excuse me, I did that same thing at the Pennsylvania State Police. I was a PCO for them for 2 years, and having that job, it was a great job. I had great pay, great benefits. It was great, but I would sit there in the comm room where we're not allowed to have any noise other than the radio. And I'm sitting there watching football. I'm like studying it. So I just reached out to one of the coaches that I knew, Rob Keys, who recruited me to go to Slippery Rock. And then he was the head coach at Finley at the time. And I reached out to him and said, "Look, this is something I'm interested in. I want to do. I'm already coaching high school. Like, tell me what I got to do." And he pointed me in the right direction and actually hired me as a graduate assistant to coach at the University of Finley. And that's what sparked the whole thing.
Okay, okay. And then I see you got your cathedral prep hat on. You got your Ramblers sweater. So you coaching over there now? What we coaching? Varsity, JV. What are we doing? What we got going over there for you?
Varsity, corners and safety. I spent 2 years at Finley as a GA, 2 years at Marietta College as full-time defensive backs coach, and 2 years as a full-time defensive backs coach at Edinburgh University.
Okay. So then I'm assuming like your on the field performance. You was like that.
Yeah, I was.
So where was you at on the field? Where was you at?
I played running back and DB in high school, and just DB, and after that, college and pro.
Okay. All right. So cool. So we got you. We got a little bit of your story. You know what I mean? As far as like leading up to this point. So, you know, like I said, I like to base these conversations off highlighting people. You know what I mean? And kind of like, you know, talking some good things and positive, and just seeing how like, you know, us as men should be having conversations on a regular basis.
Yeah,
You know, just about good thing and progress. And then I also noticed you got the Omega Psi Phi bracelet on over there. You know, like when I went to college, I always wanted to be a part of that, but I ain't gonna lie, I was afraid of the whole quote unquote hazing process. Like it's good to see a black man with that on his wrist. Like, what does that mean to you? Tell it, take us a little bit through that, man.
Well, first of all, I would just like to say that Omega Psi Phi is an anti-hazing organization.
Okay, got to get the disclaimer out there. We got to get the disclaimer.
No, man, but it's one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. So, I mean, you're from Erie, you know how it is growing up playing football. A lot of people, they end up, well, just to be real, a lot of our football players don't even get through 4 years of college, you know? And so I was almost in that same exact pool. My freshman year, I only had a 2.8 my first semester, which is it's just fine. That's okay, you know. But then I was battling for a starting position. I was going through some family stuff. I wasn't doing anything academically. I literally found a notebook. It's a true story. Found a notebook a couple months ago from my biology class, my sophomore year of college. I only took notes the first day of college.
The first day.
Or first day of school.
Okay.
First day of school. First day of school. And I ended up failing, almost failing that class. I got a D. But like it just hit me. I didn't want to be one of those people that were good at football in high school, graduate, go to college, and you never hear about them again.
Okay.
You know, so that second semester of my freshman year, after that happened, I got a 1.9. I was like, whatever, you know, I'm starting. Then I ended up starting in the fall. I ended up with a 1.2.
Man.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got a story then. That's okay.
I wasn't doing nothing except playing football. And I was balling, but when that letter got sent to my house, you know, to my mom saying I was on academic probation and I was this close to being suspended and kicked out of school, that's when it hit me. I was like, I don't want to be like everybody else.
Right.
I'd rather play for 4 years and graduate.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And that's when I just started studying and I ended up on a dean's list.
Okay. Dang, so you went from a 1.7 to the dean's list?
1.2.
1.2 to the dean's list.
Yes, sir.
How did you do that?
Well, at the time, I was dating this girl, Amanda, and we went to the library every day. She dragged me there. I hated it. But she was like she's a physical therapist now. I'm pretty sure she worked for USA gymnastics team.
Okay.
So she's very smart, but she was dragging me to the library where I didn't even know like where it was.
Okay.
Like, I was just being
okay.
keeping it 100, you know. And she was just like, you need to just sit here and just work on your stuff, just study, you know. And so we would do that together. And ultimately, because of my own motivation of my own personal embarrassment, was what pushed me to stay eligible and stay with that 3.0. And I'll never forget this conversation. This is 2 conversations I'm about to mention. As you said, this is a story. So I'm a sophomore at Slippery Rock in study tables, right? There's this kid named Kellen O'Neill. He comes on his college visit to Slippery Rock. He's from General McLean. His father, Reed O'Neill, still great friends of mine, both of them. All right. They come in the office, and when you walk into Slippery Rock, you see the board with people who got a 3.0 or better, 3.0 to 3.25 to, you know, so on and so forth, all the way up to 4.0. And I'm sitting at the front table. I got to do study tables in the coach's office because I'm messing around. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do.
Right. Now, were you on scholarship?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So they're invested in
right.
You know what I'm saying? And they're like, okay, well, this kid's not performing. He about to fail out. So like they make you do study tables in front of the coaches so they can make sure you're doing your work.
Got you.
And they make you do it right at the front desk. So as soon as people walk in you, they see you. I don't know if it worked for everybody else, but it worked for me because I was embarrassed.
Right.
And when Mr. O'Neill, Reed O'Neill, walked in that office on Kellen's visit, he looked at that board and looked at all those names, and he looked at me and he said, "Why aren't you on here?" And that just affected me. Like, damn, I'm out here about to fail out of college, and I'm not dumb.
Right.
I'm not stupid. I'm just putting time and effort into football, and there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, there's got to be balance, because at the end of the day, it don't matter if you go to the league for 15 years, football is going to end.
Right.
Your education will take you forever.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I had to have that honest conversation with myself. And if I didn't have that moment with Reach, Mr. O'Neal, I don't know if I would have ever pushed myself to that level.
Okay. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Yeah, it's good. It's always good to have some outside motivators, and you know what I mean, something to push you to get you in the right direction. But again, going back to the whole like the fraternity thing, man, like take us a little bit through, take us through that without giving us information that you ain't allowed to give us, because like I said, that was always something that I wanted to do. That just, you see that purple and gold, and then I've been to a couple of probates, you know what I mean, and I've seen the step shows and all of that. So I'm like, man, I want to be down with that. Like, how did you get yourself involved with becoming part of the, the fraternity?
Well, first of all, my uncle's a member of Omega Psi Phi, Epsilon Kappa chapter out of Clarion '98. So that was my first true exposure to the Divine Nine.
Okay.
Right. So, and my uncle, he was around me 24/7 pretty much. So that was like my father figure growing up. You know what I'm saying? So when he crossed and he got branded and everything, that's all I had an interest in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I wanted to do when I went to college, was pledge Omega Psi Phi. And when I got to Slippery Rock, they didn't even have it on campus.
Okay.
Right. So I'm doing my research, yada, yada, yada. I told you I almost fell out of school. I did my own research. I found out you had to have a cumulative 2.75 to even get into the frat.
Okay.
Right. So meanwhile, I got a 1.9 and a 1.2. So that makes my GPA as a 1.9. I'm damn near failing, or excuse me, 2.0. I'm damn near failing out of school.
Right.
Right. And so I didn't get to quote unquote pledge until my senior year of 2011 into 2012. So technically I crossed in 2012.
Okay.
But I just spent those years working to get into the frat. And the most beautiful thing about the frat was, I mentioned how Erie, live football players will go and they don't necessarily graduate, right? Or they become coaches, or they do certain things. It wasn't until I expressed interest in Omega Psi Phi and I had another black man my own age tell me, I want you to research all these other Greek organizations, and I want you to research famous Omega men. And when I researched all the Greek orgs, it just was clear to me that this is what I want to do. This is the only one I want to be a part of, Omega Psi Phi. But when I started researching the famous Omega men, it started opening doors for me. Because now I'm seeing black men that are my age who want to be doctors, lawyers, things like that. And so I was like, okay, these are the people that I want to surround myself with. And they got it way worse than I had it growing up.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And they still have higher aspirations than me academically. So I was just like, man, this is really something I want to be a part of. And since I've become a member, it's been the greatest decision I've ever made in my life. I've met so many people from different places.
Okay.
With the like-mindedness of just trying to be great and trying to make a difference, especially in the black community for young black men. So I love my frat.
That's what's up.
I rep it 24/7, 365.
That's what's up. Yeah. See, like my aunt Gwen, she played a major role in my life, like growing up as a young man and everything. So she kind of exposed me to, she used to take us on the road, and she graduated from Wilberforce, so she's a Delta, so she would take us on the road and show us the step shows, and then my sister, she ended up going to Edinburgh. She pledged, and she's Zeta, so then when I went to end up going to Clarion. It's crazy that you said your uncle, because I'm assuming Ken.
Yeah.
I mean, Coach Nickson. So he was like, I played football freshman year, and then I played football senior year. And my mom told me, like, all you got to do is graduate high school. You good with me, But Coach DePaulo was like, listen, man, you too smart. You too talented. You need to go to college. And then Coach Nickson came and coached us at Central. And he was just like telling me about like being a lineman, like how important your hands are. And, we kind of talked about college football. So the two of them kind of like talked me into playing the college football. I always wanted to join the frat, but it was just like the horror stories was kind of scared me away. And then I was in the academic. I actually was on academic suspension too.
Okay.
So it's interesting to you know what I mean, to hear you say that. But like going back, I heard you say something about there were people who like grew up and had it harder than you. Now again, I don't know you at all. You graduated from college 2011, right?
Yes, sir.
I graduated college 2009, so it's like a 2-3 year age difference. Like, were you born and raised Erie your entire life?
Yeah, born and raised in Erie. Grew up on the Lower East Side. We actually, my family moved to Mill Creek my senior year of college, but until then we were on 5th and Wallace. Never lived above 8th Street on the East Side.
Okay, so what was that like growing up down pretty much down the way?
Yeah, just down the way, man. it was cool. And so like one thing that growing up for me that was different was because I went to Catholic schools, I always played football in the Catholic League, but I grew up around all these black kids.
Okay.
So I always wanted to play in Bay City, but I had to go play at the
In the parochial.
what's it called? Yeah, parochial,
Okay.
the Bixby Bowl.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and then so I always knew everybody from Vincent, East, Central. Like I would always know all of them. But it just was it was different, but it was a blessing because my mom, just the way that she grew up, she had me at 16. You know, my dad was 18 and so on and so forth. My mom didn't meet her own father until she was like 22, 23. So like we was just grinding.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, and my mother is my biggest motivation for all my football stuff. You can say what you want with my career, everything, whatever. It all comes from her just because of I'll never forget the smile that she had on her face the first time I scored a touchdown.
Okay.
And it just made me want to do it again. And then when I saw my mom talking shit in the stands, like that's my son. That's what really, really, really made me want to do it again.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, just bring praise to the family, you know? So
that's what's up. Shout out to Mom for pushing you and, you know, playing that major role and that big role in your life. So, you know, we kind of got a glimpse of you as far as like coming up. So then on a professional level, like if you don't mind sharing, like what's your profession? What do you do?
All right. So now I'm the newly hired annual funds and events manager at Cathedral Prep.
Okay.
So this is a new job for me. I've been involved in fundraising and stuff like that at the collegiate level, but it's never been like my job, you know, because college football coach, that's your full-time job.
Right.
So when you do Relay for Life or you do some other fundraising where you coordinate food and travel, that's just kind of on the side.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So when I got done and decided to make this decision to join the high school football ranks, obviously I knew I needed a full-time job, and just God blessed me to where this job opened, and I interviewed, and it's basically another recruiting type of thing.
Okay.
So I'm excited, man. It's only been 2.5 weeks, but it's going really well. It's going really well.
That's what's up. So then even like, okay, so having that job at Prep, because we all know like living in the city of Erie, Pennsylvania, Prep is like prestigious. You know what I mean? Like you think Cathedral Prep, I think we all, you know, growing up, we all wanted to play for Prep when, you know, Bob was there and Joe was there. So like, how does that feel for you? Like actually being able to have a job, like a paid employment opportunity for Cathedral Prep High School?
Well, it feels great. You know, obviously, let me just back up a little bit. I just want to make sure everybody knows that I bleed green and white. I'm Mercier's Prep class of 07.
That's what's up, man.
I do work at Prep. Don't get me wrong. I coach, whatever. But like I bleed green and white. I went to Mercier's, and then I went to Slippery Rock, so on and so forth after that. But every Saturday, I still check the paper to see what Mercier's did on Friday night.
Okay.
You feel what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah, that's what's up. I sent my son up. He ain't on the field, but I got my son up there right now. So.
Yeah, good, man. So it's just a blessing, you know, the way everything turns. I never, ever thought in my life I'd have on this CP or this Rambler shirt on, but it was just a great opportunity for me in this point in my time, this point in my life. And if I can help mentor young men, especially young black men, playing this game that I love called football, why would I not do that? Whether it's at Mercyhurst, Northeast, East, or excuse me, East doesn't exist no more, you know, Fort LaBeouf, wherever. I don't care what they look like.
Right.
That's just what I love to do is coach football.
Okay.
That's where my passion is.
That's what's up. And I've already talked to a couple coaches, you know, football coaches, basketball coaches, and like, you know, I did a little bit of coaching, just little gooder stuff. But like again, I'm talking about Coach Nickson and Coach DePaulo. So like understanding the role that like a coach plays in a young man's life, like from young man transition into, you know, a grown man, like what are some of the benefits you see in actually you playing, I guess, that father figure role in some of these young guys' lives?
I laugh because looking back on my own football career, I know all my coaches are gonna laugh at this. I know I was that hard player that you had to deal with. I was a hothead. I was mad all the time.
Yeah.
But it was because my coaches told me whenever you come on this field, in between these lines, you can take all your anger, all your problems, whatever's going on in the world out on this field.
Okay.
But I was still lost. You feel me? So I know how important that mentorship is. But because I had men like Lee Barney, you know, who coached me for track at Mercier's Prep, who's a member of Omega Psi Phi.
Right.
And I told him back in 2005, he had a frat shirt on at practice. I said, I'm going to be one of your frat brothers.
Okay.
And he never believed me. And come 2012, here I am wearing the same letters, you know?
Okay.
So every time I see him, it's nothing but respect.
Right.
You know, but like, because I had men like that around me in my life, and I continued to my mind continued to be shaped to just be great. It just kind of accelerated one after another, but I had to put in the work.
Right. So then back to like, now you pretty much like big homie on the field, or like do they gravitate towards you? Like do they come to you to have conversation with you outside of football, like about things, maybe life or even girls, you know what I mean? Just like simple stuff. Like what do you do in that role outside of football?
All the time. You guys hit me up for anything. I've always viewed my coaching position as a parent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially because I've been a collegiate coach. High school's a little different. You deal with them and then they go home. Right. But when these kids are in college, they deal with you and they go back to their dorm room. So the fact that these parents trust you to raise their child for the next 4 years puts a lot of, for lack of better words, pressure on you.
Right.
Because if this young man graduates and he's not a functional member of society, that's my fault. I can hold myself accountable to that, right?
Good way to look at
because I'm supposed to make sure that despite everything that this young man has been through growing up his whole life, he overcomes all of it.
Right.
To be a great dad, husband, family man, or just in general a good person.
Okay.
Because we can be real, in high school you're confused and not all of us are good people. We just want to do what we see on TV.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like I said, with everything I had growing up and just knowing that and I still had a great family foundation, but I was still lost.
Okay.
I still needed guidance.
Okay.
And, I had people like Coach Howard, who's at North Carolina A&T, Coach Washington at Notre Dame, Coach Keys, who's at Ohio State, Coach Longo's at North Carolina. You know what I mean? Like those people, and Coach Mahalik, the legendary coach in the College Football Hall of Fame from Slippery Rock University.
Okay.
Those people molded me.
Right.
They instilled, I just truly believe what they were talking about.
Okay. So it sounded to me like you've had a lot of strong, positive supports around you, a lot of, male figures. So like, and you said your mother, 16, she had you at 16, your father, like, what was the relationship like, I guess, growing up with your parents?
Well, me and my mother are very close. She's always been around. My father moved and joined the Navy, when I was 2. And then he ended up moving to Charlotte, North Carolina when I was 18. So he's around.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I get the phone calls, whatever. I'm not going to sit here and act like it's the greatest relationship either.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But my mother is she's just everything to me.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know this. I'm about to brag on my mom.
Okay. Let's go then. Give her some flowers.
My mom's the vice president of executive support at Erie Insurance.
Okay.
A Fortune 500 company.
Okay.
First Black employee, first Black woman, period.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, so, like, that's where my work ethic comes from.
Right.
Me and my mom graduated college the same year.
That's what I seen you post that on Facebook one time. I seen that. I'm like, yeah, that's dope.
Yeah,
man. That's dope.
Yeah. And then she surpassed me and got a master's degree before I got mine. You know what I mean? So I'm like, dang, I'm just trying to keep up.
Right.
If she can be grown and have kids and stepchildren and all this stuff and continue to elevate them, why am I not elevating?
Absolutely. I like that. So then, like, do you have children?
No, not yet, man. But
I see you keep your cat on you, man. I see you keep the cat with you.
Yeah. My cat Leia. I bought that for my girlfriend Brienne for Christmas last year.
Okay.
It was a blessing.
Okay.
But we're actually expecting our first child in March 2023. So.
Oh yeah, that's what's up, man. Congratulations. My birthday in March. Hopefully you have a little one on the 9th, man. We're gonna shoot for the 9th.
Right now, the due date's for the end of the month.
Oh well, yeah, no, we good. I mean, I got a little brother at the end of the month too, so we still good.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So like sitting here having this conversation and like I'm glad that you were here. You know what I mean? Especially listening to some of the things that you're saying, because pretty much what it sounds like to me is like you've had a lot of good men in your life, like kind of assist you and mold you and help build you, and like you taking heed to what they said and following their lead. Like, so I feel like a lot of things that I talk about and a lot of things that I push, you will understand the importance of like men in the community, like showing up and being more active or involved in what's going on in some of these young men's lives, even if we're not like related to them or if we don't know them personally. So like, I guess my question to you, I'm trying to figure out a way to formulate it right, is like, how important do you think we as men are when it comes to assisting with some of these young men or some of these children who aren't actually ours but still need our help?
That's a great question. And the answer is forever going to change because as time evolves, we'll have to evolve. But at the same time, men are important.
Right.
You know, you always have that bond with your mom. Everybody's born from their mother, you know.
Absolutely.
But your father being in your life means a lot, whether they're coming to games, graduations, anything. Just them even being there
Right.
means a lot for you. But when you see in a I gotta be careful how I word this now. In a stable household, when you see the way that your father loves your mom, that'll change a young man's life.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I don't know if I can swear on here or whatever.
We're grown, man.
But you see, you know, growing up, we see all the videos and all
Uh-huh.
that stuff. You see all the hoes, all the bitches, all that shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But like when you're at home with something stable and you see the way that your dad loves your mother,
Right.
the way that they raised you together,
Mm-hmm.
that's something different. You know what I'm saying? Like you can have all this, but at some point in time, your life's going to circle back around and you're gonna look at somebody that don't got what you got.
Right.
And what that person don't got what you got is a family.
Right.
Because you out here just doing yourself.
Okay.
And then you don't think, dang man, I'm old now, I don't have a seed, like my family, everything is just dysfunctional.
Right.
And correcting that in your own household, this is just something that I believe, again, correcting that in your own household as a parent
Okay.
to your kids will change your kids' lives because that's going to be what they expect.
Absolutely.
They don't expect the trauma of parents bickering. They don't expect divorce. They don't expect all that other stuff. They expect love.
Right. Right. Okay. Yeah, I can definitely agree with that when it comes to situations like that as far as the family. But then we realize in today's society, the city that we live in, like a lot of the I guess the families aren't structured that way anymore. We got a lot of stepdad, or we got a lot of just separation of families. So then, like, that's what I said, like, as far as like other men being involved and being able and being willing, like, okay, so because I have a lot of children. I have 8 children. You know what I mean? I'm not with the mother of any of my children. So I mean, I definitely understand like how it's going to impact them, or could potentially impact them if I don't continue to elevate and step my game up.
For sure.
But then on the outside of that, like, I have a 15-year-old son. I'm not going to be able to be with him at all times. And I know there's going to be other men that are going to be needed in his life. Like, and I'm pretty much like want to know, like, what's your take on that as far as like other men, like being active in some of these young men's lives, regardless of the relationships that we do have or we don't have with them.
All right. Well, I'll be honest with you, man. And this might just be me, but there are some coaches like this. There are a lot of coaches like this. My mother asked me one time, she said, jokingly, I don't have any grandkids, but I'm not going to have grandkids.
Uh-huh.
And this is when I was working at Marietta College, my first full-time job. I told her, I said, you got 25 sons.
Oh, okay.
Like, I really view my players as my kids.
Right.
Like, I will really stay up all night worrying about them. It's weird. Like, I've never had my own child.
Uh-huh.
I just know how important it is. And so, like I said, when you go through the whole recruiting process, I'm not just, as a college coach, I'm not just recruiting this young man to come join my football team. I'm recruiting his family.
Right. Okay.
I got to gain the trust of his mother and his father, or whatever relative that he brings on his visit, or whatever relative that's having him make his decision. They have to be comfortable with coming to play for me.
Right.
Because of what I can provide them for 4 years so that they can succeed after college.
Okay.
Right. And so when I'm at the high school level now, it is a little different. Like I said, I have these kids and then they go home.
Mm-hmm.
Right. They're still my sons.
Right.
When they're in my presence, those are my kids. If something goes wrong, I'm in charge. You know what I mean? Like I have to take that on.
Right.
And I just love them, man. At the end of the day, when you realize like all kids needs from all their frustration, this is college or high school, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
All they need is love.
Right.
The majority of the time they start acting out or not listening, they just are frustrated because they don't feel like they're being heard, or they don't feel like they're being loved. And when you can break down that barrier, and sometimes it takes a long time, it might take a couple years. When you break that barrier down, that kid's a baller.
Right.
you know, but not only a baller on the football field.
Right.
They start doing those same habits in their job. And that's what takes them to the next level. I'm not just coaching kids to go to the NFL. I'm coaching kids to be good people.
Right. That's good, man. That's what's up. And like, especially to hear you say that, you know, and hear some of the other coaches say that, because I know like there's a lot of misconceptions about coaches, especially like when we live in an area and everybody wants their kid to be a winner and they just want the coach to make the right call to get the dub, and they don't realize like what it actually takes or what it entails is like the job being passionate. Of course, nobody wants to go lose and everybody wants their kid to be a superstar. But then outside of that, like the discipline, like I told people like football was like a fraternity for me. Like I have lifelong friends from that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I have coaches who I remember certain principles, certain quotes, certain terminology and stuff like that. So it's good to hear coaches come on here and talk about like the importance of actually being a coach and it being bigger than football, because a lot of people like them coaches ain't doing nothing. The team, like, I mean, not prep, you know what I mean? But it's other teams around here too where they feel like if we're not winning, the coaches aren't producing and people aren't realizing that, like, as a football coach or a coach for any sport for that matter, like, you're somebody's dad for a moment, and like you're responsible for somebody's physical being, you know, somebody's mental being, you know what I mean, their emotional being, because we dealing with kids. So it's good. I mean, I love the fact that you look at coaching like that and you're not just coaching for the wins, or you're not just coaching for the, you know, the popularity or the fame or whatever that may be. So you know what I mean? It's good to do that. And then like, so then when we shifted from like, okay, we talking about young men, but if we shifted the conversation to where we talking about, let's say we talking to adult grown men.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I understand, like, and everybody's not gonna understand, so I'm gonna ask you, but I understand that you got a pretty tight circle. You know what I mean? You keep yourself around some solid guys who kind of keep you on the up and up. But like, kind of explain that, like, as far as your personal associations with people, and far as you not associating with certain people who maybe you would like to or used to that you can't anymore. Like, how important is it for you that how important for your circle is for you, and what type of circle do you have?
All right, yeah, for sure. So like my circle, it's always been about elevating for me, and not everybody's elevating though. You know, and just because somebody's not continuing to climb up, don't mean that they're a bad person.
Right.
But you really got to look at people's actions as opposed to what they say or they might post to them being a good person. Because there's a lot of people who are great parents, great people, and you hop on their social media and you're posting some wild shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, hold on a second, you got kids.
Right.
Like, and your kids are friends with you on their social media platform.
Right.
What are you doing?
Right.
You know, and again, I don't have kids, whatever. But for me, I just try to surround myself with people who are doing much better than me. And that's part of why I joined Omega Psi Phi. Like, I was around a lot of football players that just want to play football. But then when I got my interest in the frat, I saw a lot of college students that were interested in being successful and in being great and writing periodicals and doing stuff like that.
Okay.
Right. So now that I'm in the frat, now I'm surrounded by these people. And now that I graduated, I continue to surround myself with people like that. Like people who share my similar vision. And it might not be exactly to a T, but it's people who are elevating themselves in the way that they see fit. Like they're not being stagnant.
Right.
Because when you hang out with people that are stagnant, you become stagnant.
Right.
And then you become a victim of circumstance. And I don't want to be a victim of circumstance. I have goals. I have dreams. So why would I not surround myself with people who have goals and dreams as well? And they might not be the same as me.
Right.
But they're doing the things that they need to do in order to elevate and to get to that.
Okay.
So if you surround yourself with successful people, manifestation is real. If you surround yourself with successful people, you will be successful because you'll be more motivated to go that extra mile. You feel what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So then, okay, so like, and what's interesting about that is like over the course, I want to say the last 2, maybe 3 years, like I've been working on doing that myself, because I know, like, I feel like us as men, we have like a macho complex to where, well, I'm going to speak for myself, you know, but sometimes it's kind of like intimidating, or you have too much pride to be able to, when you see somebody that's on the next level, to like kind of introduce yourself to that person or kind of like join that circle or have those conversations. So like, was that a thing for you, or were you just like, you know what, these guys are doing good, I'm walking up to the table, hey guys, my name's Jayson, what's going on?
No, hell yeah, that was a thing. Especially when it comes to football, because I might see somebody my age who has more accolades than me, yada yada yada, and I might feel like I'm better than them.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, all I'm trying to be is a good person.
Right.
I had to humble myself and have that real conversation with myself, and see what this person is doing. They might be doing some other stuff in the community. Who knows?
Right.
But it was just a fact of the matter of recognizing what people are doing in their own communities and replicating it. And again, I keep going back to Omega Psi Phi, but like that opened the doors for me.
Okay.
If I don't join Omega Psi Phi, I don't know people like Chris Steele Edmonds, who has his athletic trauma unit giving free workouts in Pittsburgh, so successful he's invited to the White House. I never meet that person if I don't do that.
Right.
Now, you don't have to join in Divine Nine. I'm just talking about myself.
Understood. Right.
But like, it just doesn't happen for me.
Absolutely.
I don't make myself uncomfortable like that.
So then, like, I mean, and then like hearing some of the things that you say, and like I said before, just listening to like the role, like that, the role that men play in young men's lives, or other people influencing. Like, first of all, I want to ask you this question: would you consider yourself to be a successful person?
No.
No. Why not? No.
Because I have not achieved my dreams yet.
Okay.
And so to me, that's a failure. Not necessarily a failure, but I'm just not there.
Okay.
Like it's a continuous.
Still got work to do.
Yeah, I still got plenty of work to do. I never feel like I'm working hard enough. It's
okay.
Kind of annoying. It drives me crazy. It's why I got all these gray hairs on my face, but it is what it is. It's just the way I am.
Listen, I have a similar problem with that as far as like working too hard and like my therapist told me, like, there's a such thing as a workaholic. Deontay, you need to like slow down, chill, learn how to relax. Like, I literally have worksheets on how to relax. It's crazy. When I tell people that, they clown me, but yeah, like I definitely understand that. You know what I mean? Especially when you have that athletic background, and then like very similar to you, like my mother plays a major role in my life. And I seen her work 2 jobs, and I try to raise 3 kids, and put food on the table and make ends meet. So when you're raised and you grow up and you're seeing something like that, and you still have aspirations to be somebody and get somewhere, it's very difficult to tell somebody you're doing good, like it's looking good for you, chill, relax. You know what I mean? I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm not there yet. So again, like that's why I want to keep having these conversations so that I can meet like-minded individuals and have talks to where we kind of throw ideas at each other and see the similarities and the differences. So like it's really cool to have these type of conversations. So now my question is, like, what made you want to be interested to come on here and have this conversation, especially on Facebook Live?
Well, for one, I've never done anything like this before, and you reached out to me, and I was like, well, this sounds dope, and the fact that you told me if you wanted to hear from me, I was like, okay,
right.
Like, I don't know why, but okay, and like I said, my work's not done yet because I'm not satisfied. I have like extremely high aspirations. You ask anybody in my family, you told me you have worksheets to continue your job. Excuse me, here in 2022, I'm just now learning that I have to make time for myself. When I started coaching college ball, full-time college coach, I was working 120, 130 hours a week.
Wow.
And I was in grad school,
Wow.
Maintaining that 3.7 average.
Wow.
So I would get done with my work at 5 in the morning, and I got to be back at the office at 7, but I'm going home and got to do my homework. So I would sleep for 20, 30 minutes, and then I might work for 22 hours.
Oh man, that don't even sound healthy.
It don't. And that's why I am the way that I am. And, but I was just so focused on making my dreams come true. I never thought, like, you know what, you need to just relax and do something for you, because you're out here grinding, you're doing everything for everybody else, and you do something for yourself.
Right.
And I've gone through some hardships that have told me I need to do stuff for myself, and it's really woken me up to and it has made me a better person, because I might feel like I might lose 2-3 hours because I'm watching TV or watching chilling with my girl or whatever, but that's family time,
right?
And that's time that I've never had with both parents,
right?
So like now, when the outside looking in, I'm doing things the way I'm supposed to do,
right?
I got to give time to my girl, to my family, like, because that's ultimately what I wanted. It took me years to figure that out.
Okay.
And to shuffle through all the madness of just being football. Now I'm on a family.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So.
Okay. That's what's up. So then, okay. So I'm trying to think. I had a question in my head. I kind of lost when you told me I just want a family, like, because that's good. Like, that's a beautiful thing for real. And I appreciate you coming on and having this conversation and talking to me about different things, different aspects of your life.
Yeah, no doubt.
But like I said, going back, I know what I was going to ask you when I was talking about the worksheets and stuff like that, because like I'm a huge advocate for mental health. You know what I mean? I think it's very important to make sure your mental health is in check. You know what I mean? And again, like I said, I know you got yourself surrounded with some people. I kind of feel like I have a inkling or a feeling for, but like, what's your thoughts on that as far as like mental health and addressing it and managing it and acknowledging it?
Well, it's funny that you asked me that because, like I said, 2022 has been a very different year for me. I'm learning to take care of my own mental health because I put everybody else's needs before mine for so many years. You're talking since I first learned how to lift weights in the 5th grade. I've been working out and just trying to make it and yada yada yada. And now I'm a coach and I'm still like grinding like that. And it kind of drove me crazy, and talking. I started therapy to get through my childhood traumas. I didn't realize that I had been through so much,
Right.
and not even childhood, adulthood traumas. It continues, but because I started therapy, now I'm able to process through all this stuff and really find myself as opposed to just putting pressure on myself and tearing myself down. Oh, you're not here yet. You you did this interview, but you said this wrong.
Right.
You taught this scheme to your defensive backs, but you said this wrong.
Right.
I'm not beating myself up about all the negative because I've been so focused on doing on positive. Sometimes I forgot that I'm climbing the positivity ladder as well. Like
Right. Right.
I might not do something perfect, but I'm still climbing towards my goals. And when you say, mental health, like that's what all that's about. Is also praising yourself. Like you've done everything that you do from where you started to get to where you are now is huge.
Right.
It doesn't
Yes.
matter whether you started it yesterday, today, or 10 years ago. Progress is progress.
Right.
One step is one step. So I had to start giving myself credit for that. Like I didn't even it took again my relationship with my mother. I had a conversation because I was having poor mental health. Like I was having all kind of issues, like questioning myself, doubting myself, and I'm so confident I've never been there before.
Right. Okay.
Because I've always had success in my athletic career, but now I wasn't climbing as fast as I felt that I should have. But having that conversation with my mother, she told me like, look around you. When you quit your job from the state police and took a job where you only made $7,000 a year for 2 straight years, that's well below the poverty line, right? For 2 straight years, look at where you are now. You got people calling you for jobs.
Right.
You got people asking you for help.
Right.
And I was like, dang, man, it didn't even register with me like that. Like, I'm really climbing because if you're on the grind as the way you should be, you're going to blink. The next thing you know, you might be, who knows?
Right.
But you look back on it and you say, look, man, I was grinding. This is everything that I had to give. And when you get to that level, that's when you reach your hand back.
Right.
And pull up as you climb.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
So that's what it's been for me.
Okay. That's what's up, man.
Trying to get there.
Listen, man, I appreciate the honesty and I appreciate the transparency. And I like to ask, men about mental health a lot, especially black men, because I know that's a subject that we ignore. You know what I mean? A lot of us feel like, just suck it up, or we too tough to even think about that stuff. Or even like you said, like, I didn't even know I had childhood traumas because the things that we see growing up are just, they become so normal to us that it's like, oh, that's supposed to happen. And I don't know, your story is different from everybody's story is different, but
right.
Your mom and your dad, or your mom and your stepdad are supposed to argue, or you're supposed to not have a dad, or you're supposed to go out there and fight, and you're not supposed to cry. You know what I mean? I got to the point now to where like I accept the fact that it's okay for me to cry. You know what I mean? I have no problem. I tell people all the time, like, ain't nothing soft about me, but when it's time to let them tears roll, I let them tears roll. I got to get it out. Like, you know what I mean? So it's good to hear that kind of stuff. It's good to hear it.
And I don't mean to interrupt you, but I just want to put on the air here that men, especially black men, need to tell each other that they love each other.
Okay.
And that's been part of my mission with my coaching thing. I always tell my kids that I love them.
Okay.
Because love breaks down all boundaries.
I was just about to say, why is that so important to you?
It does. When a kid or a person feels loved or cared for, they're more than likely to open up to you about their wants and their needs so you can take care of them properly. But when you're an a-hole and you don't do those kind of things, they're not going to open up to you.
Right.
That's when people stay closed off, right? And that's when they continue to do their consecutive bad habits. You got to break down that barrier. You have to. And just from my own experience, I found that love is what breaks down that barrier.
Okay. So I mean, based on your level of intellect, you know what I mean, and the insight that you have, I probably should have asked you earlier, but when you went to college, like, what did you major in?
I graduated from Slippery Rock with a degree in safety and environmental management. It's not even close to what I started going to school for. I wanted to do exercise science because I knew I wanted to stay in sports.
Mm-hmm.
We had one meeting when I was in exercise science, and they said you had to do 200 or 300 hours of X amount of service. I don't know. I blocked it out of my mind years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But all I heard was, oh, I can't go to practice. So no, I got to change my major.
Right.
And I had a long conversation with George Mahalik, and he said, you should check out the safety major. And at the time, all the football players are majoring in safety. And I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Right.
But when I actually looked into it, it found really interesting to me because it was always changing. You know, the regulations were always changing. I know a lot of random stuff, like when you have scaffolding, the boards can't be more than 12 inches apart, or 12 inches wide or more than 18 inches apart. Just random stuff like that. Like you have to keep up with the rules and regulations.
Right.
And that what I just spit on the air could be wrong, but that's what I learned in 2011,
right,
11 years ago. You know, so it just the fact that it kept changing and it wasn't monotonous, like this is how you do it for 30, 40 years. Excuse me, was what prompted me to join that major, and that's what actually kept my interest.
Okay.
Was the fact that it was always changing.
Okay.
So that's why I joined that major. And
he said you got your master's degree, right?
No, I never actually finished it. So I started my master's in safety and environmental science at the University of Findlay, and then I got my full-time job at Marietta. I still had 3 classes left.
Okay.
But they weren't paying for it, so I was like,
I see a lot of people like, oh, you should go back to school. You should get your master. I tell people like, listen, man, I owe them people money right now. Still, they probably looking for me, and I don't want to sign up for no more of that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I had to ask that question just to know. So, like, when you graduated college, like, outside of football, like, what was your aspirations as far as like becoming somebody? Did you know what you wanted to do or who you wanted to be when you graduated college?
I did. If I could put this on pause, I gotta go to the bathroom.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, go ahead. You go ahead. We go take a little break. Let my man go ahead. Take care of it. So I'm gonna keep going though. You pull that door right there. Yeah, and I'm gonna keep going and I'm gonna keep talking because you stepped out the room for a minute, but I appreciate the viewers. You know, the people were chiming in. I feel like we're having a very good conversation. You know what I mean? And I'm sending the message to JT. He coming on next. You know, he coming. He gonna come up here next. We're gonna get this interview next. But yeah, no, like it's just cool, and I'm appreciating this conversation because I feel like as men, like these are the type of things that we can be talking about. I'm not gonna say we should because I'm not gonna dictate what anybody should be talking about. But I feel like these type of conversations are very beneficial. You know what I mean? For us, it's good development. It's good relationship building. You know what I mean? It's just good. I feel like. Because we can sit around and we can gossip and we can talk about anything, you know what I mean? We talk about the mess that's going on. Are we man bashing? Are we woman bashing? And we complaining about everything. So I just feel like, if we start changing the way that we talk to each other and we start changing the things that we talk about, then we can start having progressive conversations to where, we start to get on the same page and we get to leveling up and we get to communicating with other brothers. And you know what I mean? Just feeling comfortable to have that conversation and say, how can I help you, or asking for help, or just, you know what I mean? Us going to a sporting event and we being united, or us going to a party and knowing that like we're going to have a good time because we know it's going to be 60 brothers in there and they all solid dudes. So we ain't got to worry about no mess, no trouble. Like we are literally working on building, building our community up. We're working on creating new relationships. We're working on, bridging the gap, breaking the change, like changing the narrative. So like I'm serious about this. Like I'm on a mission, and I've been sending invites out. I've been sending invites out since Sunday. When I'm sending messages out, the responses that I've been getting is like amazing. We got people signing up to come on who never went Facebook Live before, who are interested. Hold on, I think you're knocking. The door might be locked. Yeah, people that are just, interested in stepping out of their comfort zone. We got Jayson. I ain't gonna take up too much more of his time, but I'm gonna see if I can stretch him for like 5 more minutes until JT get on here.
No, I mean, you good. Sorry, I had to go to the bathroom.
No, it's cool. It's cool.
I'm sorry. What was your question? though? You had
Hold on, because this JT, he about to pull up too. But I don't even remember the question. But like, I'm just gonna take it back to based off what I was saying as far as like before when you left out the room, like just having these type of conversations. Like I feel like it's important for men. You know what I mean? Like us as men to just have conversations because we can bash. You know what I mean? We bash women. We complain about politics. We complain about gas prices and stuff. But like to have a productive, progressive conversation. You know what I mean? It's very beneficial. I mean, in my mind, in my opinion, and just to feel comfortable going somewhere and seeing somebody. You know what's going on, bro? How you doing? Like, how's this going for you? Or like, and then even having friends that you can brag to where it's like, yo, bro, I just closed on 3 deals, and you like, oh man, that's what's up. I just did X, Y, and Z, and it's just kind of like keeping each other in check. So, you know, I'm working. I'm not gonna say I'm anymore because there's so many other people that's involved. Like we're working on changing the narrative. We're working on creating a space where we can have these conversations and be comfortable talking to each other, be comfortable greeting each other. Because you know, us as black men, we walk around with a meme up. You know what I mean? Like we had this face on, like you know, I gotta be tough, I gotta be strong. And then when I see you, I don't want to say what's up to you. I'm all happy in a good mood, and you all grinned up. You know, how I'm supposed to say what's up to you, bro? So, like, we working on getting the smiles coming out and all of that. Like, we working on changing a lot of stuff. So I'm just like, when it comes to change and when it comes to progress, based on just the city of Erie and things that we need to be doing for us, like, what are some of the things that you think should be going on and should be happening, and what should we start doing?
Man, that's a great question. There's a lot of hating that goes on in Erie, man, specifically amongst our community. Just again, it's just my own observance. But I feel like what needs to happen is a lot of uplift because we have so many people who are doing so many good things. They're not necessarily uplifted. A lot of people will hate or say, "Oh, well, you did this in your past," or da 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 da. So what? My past is not my present.
Thank you.
You know, I grew from that.
Thank you.
You can talk about my past all you want to, but I'm a whole different person now. You know, and so highlighting how people change is going to do wonders for our community. Highlighting that, oh, you used to be this, you used to be that, you used to do all this other stuff, but now you're trying to uplift our community, and people say, oh, well, you did this and you did that. Like, okay, yeah, you know what, I did, but because I did is the reason why I don't want your child to.
Right.
And it seems like people can't seem to understand that. And not necessarily just in Erie, just like kind of globally, you know, like
right.
Just because I used to be this doesn't mean that your child has to be, especially when your child has me as a resource.
Exactly. I'm glad that you said that because a lot of people don't understand how important that is. And that's why, again, I want the conversation. Is that you hear the homie? I think it's the computer.
No, that's the vacuum outside. Homeboy vacuum.
But yeah, like as far as like us, just like you might look at somebody and you know somebody might know me from 10 years ago and hasn't had a conversation with me in 5, and it's like, oh, you mean such and such? You used to do X, Y, and Z, and I think that kind of like puts a damper on a lot of us in the community, a lot of men in the community. I can only speak for the men, a lot of men in the community because you know change is progressive and change nothing is constant but change, and a lot of people can change, a lot of people can build and grow, but I believe we need to start giving each other credit when we see the change. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like I remember when you was a mess, bro. Like, that's what's up. It's good to see you shining. You know, you look, that's a nice outfit. You know, your haircut look good and all of that. Instead of like, oh, that's old boy who used to do such and then it might be true. I might have been the guy to do such and such, but that was 10 years ago. Like, when do I get credit for my change? So it's good to, you know, for you to say that and for you to acknowledge that, and hopefully other men can start acknowledging and recognizing that like we need to start, you know, slowing down on I guess how judgmental we are of our fellow man, and just kind of like start to look at and acknowledge the fact that this man has progressed, this man has changed, he's a different person now, and I can have a conversation with him, and I don't have to ask him any questions about his past because through his actions and through what I see, he's not that guy anymore.
No, man, you couldn't have said it better. And I just will add this. You know, you say men, and that's great, but I just want to highlight the women too because like women they could change as well. You know, and I'm a huge advocate for women and their success and their grind, because of who my mother is.
Absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
So, I just wanted to point that back to the women that have changed too, because at the end of the day, ain't no men out there having kids. It's all women that are
exactly
having
kids. exactly.
And so your mother, regardless of who she is or who she was, is still going to be your mother, and your father is the same way too. Now, we do need to celebrate how people grow as they get older, because I feel like, specifically in here, we don't necessarily celebrate that.
Right.
That people want to hang on to the past. You're supposed to grow. If you're the same person that you were at 16 when you're 32, like something's wrong there.
Right.
Something never clicked, or you never had an inspiration to open those doors for you that have fortunately been open to us, right? So when that, anytime somebody grows in any way, shape, or form, it needs to be celebrated. It
Absolutely.
needs to be celebrated, and not only celebrated, just so that our youth can see, but like that also that person needs to know.
Exactly.
They need that verification as well.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, so that person keeps on going, because you don't know what's going on in that person's life.
Right.
It might look great on social media. It might look great that they're climbing a ladder and doing all this stuff, but you don't know what's going on behind
Right.
those doors. They might be battling some demons. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And through all that, they're still doing this, still inspiring the community, still climbing, or excuse me, still pushing forward. Like, they need to be celebrated, man.
Absolutely, man. That's why, and I'm glad you're here. Because I'm real big on giving flowers. You know what I mean? And like, and I'm glad that you said it as far as like accomplishing it. I was like, I'm not afraid to reach out to people. I'm the guy, I'm in people's inbox. I'm asking questions. I'm putting hearts on pictures. I'm putting hearts on statuses. Like, you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
just want people to feel good, to feel comfortable, to feel acknowledged. And you know what I mean? Like, and you did say like, no disrespect to any of ladies. And a lot of ladies, they reach out to me like, oh, when you gonna start interviewing the women, or when you gonna start,
Mhm.
like talking to us? And like, and the reason why I wanted to focus more on the men is because like the women do anything in the city. You know what I mean? Like you see,
Man.
like I was at a little thing today, and they said like, black women are like the highest registered to vote. Like the black women outdo everybody. You know what I mean? And then you see like all these people, the entrepreneurs, or you got the women empowerment. They just had a march out there. Women are doing so much, and they coming together. And then we as men, we sitting back. I mean, there are some strong men behind some of these women, but then we sit back and we not looking at it and saying, yo, fellas, we need to start following suit. Like it would be cool if me and 7 of my homies, or even just 7 men from the city area, could take a guys trip. You know what I mean? Or
Hell yeah.
you know what I mean? Or even like business ideas. Like it's so many different people who are entrepreneurs who are running business and stuff like that. And it's like if we start collaborating, we can build and we can grow, but people aren't looking at it and thinking like that. But the women in this city are definitely putting on. So I agree with you there, man. I definitely appreciate a woman. I appreciate women. My mom is the strongest person I know. Like my mom is to me, like she come before anything and anybody. So I
Already.
definitely agree and definitely understand that too. But yeah, man, I'm glad you threw that out there. You know what I mean? And then you did a lot of name dropping too, which is cool because like I look at you like you might not look at yourself as a successful person, but I look at you like a successful person. Reason being is, you have some accolades, you know what I mean? And then I definitely understand like what it's like. Again, we were around the same age, like being a young black man growing up in a city where it's a lot of things that are influencing you, a lot of pressures on you. And I definitely understand how difficult it is to go to college and, keep your head up and graduate, walk that stage, then waking up, going to work every single day, just like having to discipline yourself when you can easily just be a statistic. You can easily go the wrong way and try to get money or be that guy. So
For sure.
it's hard. It's very, I'm not gonna say it's hard. It's difficult to be a stand-up black man when the odds are quote unquote against you, and then you have so many different influences. So like to me, you are successful to hear. I graduated high school, I graduated college, like I got a job, I gave up a job. I'm working on my mental health. Like you praising your mother, you praising these coaches, join the fraternity. Like you're part of so many different 1% groups that like for you to sit here and say I'm not a success, but then also say we need to start acknowledging other people and we need to start, celebrating ourselves as well, man. Like I understood what you meant when you said you got so much more to go, but I'm not gonna let you walk out of here and me not tell you like I look at you like a successful individual, and that's why I reached out to you, and I'm pretty sure that's why people told me to reach out to you as well, man. So we ain't about to walk out of here with you. Nah, I'm not successful. Like we ain't being modest today. That's why I'm bringing the fellas on here. We go out to start hyping ourselves up, bigging ourselves up, man. So
Oh man, I appreciate that, and the people that know me best, they'll tell you when I reach a level I'm trying to get to, I'll be the first one to tell
okay, okay,
you. I'm as cocky or confident as they come.
I love it.
I'm just not there yet. So
Okay,
I don't feel like that, and hopefully when I do get to the point where I feel like that, I'm not satisfied, and I continue to grow. That's all I want to do is just never be satisfied. Just to continue to keep climbing. The Jay-Z's, P. Diddy's, Kobe's. You know what I'm saying? Michael Jordan's like they just keep climbing.
right.
It doesn't stop. They don't get stagnant.
Okay.
How do they keep climbing? Why do they keep doing that? Like, and eventually, hopefully, I'm praying and grinding that one day those are the type of people that are in my circle that I can get information from
Absolutely.
and then bring it back.
Absolutely. When you get to where you're going and you get to where you want to go, I want to make sure that we celebrate that again. And then, like I said, I'm talking to people and I'm reaching out to other people, and I want to follow this up. I don't want this to just be talk. You know what I mean? I talked to Jovan the other day, and he said we need to have more action. So moving
I
forward,
agree.
like I plan on like eventually we all gonna come together. And you already seen the space, so even if I need to set up a meeting here, or it's a couple different people that I reached out to who have some pull in the community. So it might be some other place that we can go. But I want to like I don't know if you can call it a fellowship or brotherhood or whatever, but I want every single person that I interview to be able to meet another person who was interviewing. I want us to all be in the same room, suited and booted. Maybe we go to an event or something, but
Oh yeah.
I really want to build from this. I really want to grow from this. And I appreciate you coming on here. Like, I don't know if you realize or not, but you gave me an hour of your time, man. Like, see your alarm going off. But, another guy, he on his way here. So I don't know if you got any questions for me or you got anything you want to say before you go. If you want to drop any last little pieces of information, like, this is the Jayson Nickson show, man. Go ahead and do your thing.
Nah, man. I'm just thankful, for reaching out, for you reaching out to me. Like I said, I've never done anything like this before. I had no idea people wanted to hear what I wanted to say, or you wanted to hear what I wanted to say, or excuse me, had to say. I had no idea, so it's just truly a blessing, from God to be here and to be in this position, especially with everything that I've overcome. Um, I'm just blessed, man. And when it comes to our community and everything, like I hear what you're saying. We might need more action. You know what I mean? Or we could throw an event and have all of our people who've been on your show. But the way I see it is, why can't like you throw an event and it's your event and we all there. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so as much as you want to highlight us, like we still want to highlight you. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like like this. There's not a lot of people doing what you're doing.
Right.
So as much as you want to give me my flowers, I still got to give you yours. Cause ain't nobody hit me up to come and do something like this and to shine a light on Black men in our community except for you.
Okay.
So like you deserve your flowers too. You see what I'm saying?
Appreciate
but you're
it.
so far in the ground, you don't notice the steps that you're taking.
Right.
Right. And
Right.
that's what I touched on earlier.
Right.
You just keep your head down, head high through, look to the stars through perseverance.
Right.
Right. And you just keep grinding and you don't realize that you're inspiring all these people along the way.
Mm-hmm.
And so 20, 30 years from now, who knows what your following will be.
Right.
So I just want to give my flowers to you, man, and commend you for doing what you're doing. And hopefully at some point, and this is nothing against you, we do highlight the Black women in this community, or just women, period, because there's so many great women, specifically Black women in our community that are doing amazing things. You don't even have to go to the Erie community; you can go national.
Right.
You can talk about the rap game right now because Black women are dominating.
Right.
That's a whole nother conversation that I'm willing to have.
Right.
Okay. But it's just a blessing to be here, man. I'm just hoping I can continue to grind and elevate. Like, it's just reassuring that I haven't been grinding for all these years and turning gray for no reason. Like,
right.
This was a big confidence booster for me.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad I can do that, man. And like I said, I'll be seeing your posts, you know what I mean? And you be on a positive note like me, you know what I mean? So I just want to encourage you to keep pushing, you know what I mean? Keep going, accomplish them goals, get to where you want to go, man. So then that way you can be, in your mind, successful. But like I said, at the end of the day, I feel like you're a positive person in the community. And I feel like, just from you doing the coaching thing and the impact that you do have, I appreciate the work that you do. And then hopefully people feel comfortable when they see you speaking to you, saying thank you to you or asking you questions, or you know what I mean, just dropping some advice and some gems on you as well. So, like, again, I want to thank you for coming on here. You know what I mean? We highlighted you. We'll continue to highlight you. I'm gonna share your post when I see you posting. When you hit them accolades, you're gonna hit them accolades. Hopefully, we build your stock up. So, whatever endeavors you have going on. As a matter of fact, I'll ask you that real quick before, because he ain't here yet. Do you have anything that you're working on outside of here that we're like you trying to build, grow, or you need help with? Like, how can I help you?
Oh man. Dang, that's a great. You actually stumped me there. That's a good question. I just, again, and this is not to sound selfish. I've been so focused on myself, I wasn't necessarily using all my resources.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's really people out there who are trying to do what you do, and that can open another door for you.
Mm-hmm.
That door was closed for me. I wasn't doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And this right here was what opened that door for me. Like there's actually people out here who are trying to, do good, um, shine a positive light on everything that you're doing despite everything that you've been through. So it's just very reassuring. There's genuine good people out there who care, who want to make a difference in these young people's lives, men or women. There's just people there who are going to help you, because nobody can do things without help.
Right. I'm a firm believer in
There
that.
isn't a successful person on this earth who did it by themselves. I
Right.
don't care what you read. I don't care what you hear in rap songs. They say it's on me, whatever. Somebody help that person.
Right. That's what's up. Yeah, and
And
I tell my
can
daughter that on the
find,
regular.
That's all that I want to do.
I appreciate
continue to
that.
help people. So thank you for helping me.
Absolutely. And again, like I said, man, we're going progress. I got some things that I'm working on outside of my job, outside of real estate. You know what I mean? So, and that's why I always ask people, like, how can I help you? Because I have no problem asking people for help. So we're gonna stay in touch. You know what I mean? Like I said, I know it's been a while. I done got me some new books going. You know, I'm a part of a new club now. Get some information, but yeah, we need to stay in touch, man. We need to start building. We need to be more present. We need to be seen more often. We need to be heard more often. So again, like I can have 7 different closings for the interview, but I appreciate your time. You know what I mean? I appreciate the story that you did share with us, and hopefully, we can get you back on here. I want to get it rolling to where we can highlight everybody over and over again until everybody actually knows who you are based on what you want to share and what you give out. But again, I wanted to thank you. And especially for me being a little late, I'm taking the blame for that one. For anybody out there, the show ran late because of me, but with good reason. Me and my dad was finishing up our workout on my son. Y'all know we've been going consistent, so we got 3 days in with my dad and my son. I'm working on all the relationships that I have going on around me. So we're gonna end the broadcast. If I got any questions or anything for anybody, reach out to me. Reach out to Mr. Nickson. You got something you want to say before we cut it off?
I do want to say something. When you came in here and you were late, whatever. None of that. After you told me what was going on, I didn't care about none of that. You told me that you was working out with your dad and your son. That's 3 generations right there.
Exactly.
I've never experienced that. There's a lot of people that never experienced that. The fact that you're doing that, you know what your son's going to do for his son? And so on and so forth. That's how you make the change. You know what I'm saying? For years to come, is opening that door for that young person. Because now this young person will be like, oh, I used to work out with my grandfather and my dad.
Right.
And now his son or daughter, for that matter, is going to be working out with their grandfather, grandmother, and their dad.
Right.
Or mom. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all it takes. It's just that little bit of inspiration. That one little memory, it just plants a seed and it can grow into a beautiful tree for years to come.
Appreciate it, man. So yeah, we're gonna end it there. I appreciate it, man. I definitely love them flowers, man. I needed to. I love compliments and stuff like that. We're gonna get out of here. We'll wrap it up. But for those of you who are paying attention, I got another interviewer coming. He might be at the door. I got Mr. Jesse JT Tate going on. So I'm gonna take a little break, give me some tea, get myself together, and I'm gonna come right back on here. But again, I appreciate your time. When I learn these buttons and stuff, I'm gonna figure out how to hit the round of applause and all of that good stuff. But in the meantime, everybody take care of yourself, and we'll be back live in a minute. So if you ain't got nothing to do, tune back in if you care to see my face or hear my voice again. Y'all take care.
Man, see, appreciate it.